Hello and welcome to the mCable channel, and today let's talk about gaming on consoles versus PCs from the couch. 3 years ago, I reviewed the first Steam Machine, a console-like gaming PC for a console-like price of $500, utilizing the living room-friendly Steam OS. Half a year later, I got a chance to review the Corsair Lapdog, a revolutionary tool to game with a mouse and keyboard from the couch. And a year later, I produced Volt, the ultimate $300 console killer gaming PC designed to replace your PS4 Pro for a cheaper price. It looked like progressing onwards that 2018 could finally be the year that you could realistically have an affordable PC gaming experience from the couch or from your living room. But as we all know, due to the crazy inflation of GPU prices from cryptocurrencies, shortage of DDR4 RAM, and halt in development of new budget GPUs, it seems that strides towards replacing your console experience with a console killer gaming PC has lost some momentum. So in today's video, we're going to be assessing the current state of PC gaming from the couch versus what is available from the console gaming market, and give you guys an answer over whether to take up the living room PC gaming experience now or purchase a current gen console. If you're interested in seeing more console versus PC videos like this, then consider subscribing to the Scattervolt YouTube channel. And if you're impatient like me and you want to know when the next video drops, just like your average frame rate in PUBG, then enable channel notifications, follow me on Twitter, and join the Scattervolt Discord server. Before I begin, I want to give two ginormous shoutouts to TCL for sponsoring this video with their 6 Series 55-inch 4K television, and Marsille for sponsoring their mCable Gaming Edition HDMI cable. Real quick, I want to notify you guys that in celebration of National Cut the Cord Day happening on July 7th, TCL will be giving away 103 55-inch 4 Series 4K televisions to commemorate the average $103 Americans waste every year on cable television. So if you'd like to take the jump and move to a wireless future, then feel free to enter their giveaway, which will be linked at the very top of the description. Let's begin with comparing the performance for the dollar. Currently, the best new gaming PC you can build at the same price of a PS4 Pro is Tron, the ultimate $400 gaming PC. This $400 computer is sporting a Pentium Gold G5400, 8GB of RAM, a dedicated GT 1030, and Windows 10. Funny enough, this is the fastest configuration you can get for $400, which is even faster than using an overclocked Ryzen 2400G, which I found out for myself when I compared the benchmarks between Tron and Electrobyte, my $500 gaming PC utilizing that APU Raven Ridge processor. Now, of course, this computer isn't going to have nearly the same portability and ease of use from the couch as a PS4 Pro, but what does for around the same price that would be more realistic for a living room PC gaming experience? For that, let me introduce you to the Alienware Alpha Steam Machine. This is the closest console-like gaming PC I've reviewed to date that is small enough to fit in a TV stand, has the same boot up and play feel, and for its time, similar performance to a regular PS4 for only $100 more. So it's been 3 years since this bad boy released, so let's go ahead and check out the 2018 version, and it's discontinued. What about the Corsair one? Kinda discontinued. The Gigabyte bricks? Discontinued. Not all hope is lost though, because there is the Intel Nook with the Intel i7 Hades Canyon processor with built-in Vega graphics that definitely shows promise for $740. So at the moment, affordable HTPC gaming is not as fire hot as it used to be. At this point, you can either look into getting an Intel Nook for a premium price or build your own HTPC gaming PC, which if we looked at the best PC part picker list I could come up with for $475 in a mini ITX form factor, things look decent, but not at the level of an Xbox One X for only about $25 more. So budget HTPC gaming PCs at the moment don't really square up against modern day consoles. But ignoring the size and ease of use, how does a traditional gaming PC stack up to a PS4 Pro in high resolution gaming for about the same price using the TCL 6 Series 4K television and mCable Gaming Edition HDMI cable? In order to get the most optimum 4K living room experience, The TCL 6 Series 4K TV offers 3 HDMI 2.0A ports. These latest and greatest 2.8 ports will allow you to output 4K resolution content at 60 frames per second, which is just what we need for this comparison. It's also got other tech goodies us gamers will like, such as a 240Hz refresh rate, dedicated Ethernet port, and my personal favorite, an AV adapter, so you can play your old game consoles on a next generation TV. However, if we want to fully utilize the 4K capabilities of the TCL 6 Series TV, then we obviously have to have the ultimate HDMI cable, because unfortunately, not all games on Tron and PS4 can run at 4K for their price. Additionally, despite the PS4 Pro's extra power, there are a lot of high-end games like Wolfenstein 2 and Hitman that can only run at 1440p. That's where the Marsille mCable Gaming Edition HDMI cable comes into play, because thanks to its dedicated graphics card chip inside the cable, we'll be able to upscale restricted 1440p or 1080p gameplay to 4K. If that didn't sound good enough, the mCable features built-in contextual anti-aliasing, so we'll be getting the cleanest picture possible on our TCL TV. So in the end, thanks to the TCL 55-inch 6 Series TV and Marsille mCable Gaming HDMI cable, we'll have full, unrestricted power demoing whether the PS4 Pro or $400 Tron Gaming PC will come out on top in this 4K gaming comparison. Links to check out these products are at the very top of the description, so feel free to check them out. Now we're playing Fortnite, which is not a 4K optimized title for the PS4 Pro. What Boost Mode does offer is that it allows you to play the game at a faster 1080p resolution, and I don't care about what this kid is saying. I'm just here to benchmark, but as you can clearly see, the game is running pretty smoothly. Oh yeah, fun fact, this is my first time playing Fortnite on a PlayStation, by the way. So if I don't know any of the controls, don't blame me. Can everyone in the comments section recognize that if you really want to play this game, you gotta do it on PC, because that's where the actual competition is? Just saying, just saying. Oh wait, this is definitely different. This is why you don't make free-to-play games, because you have random kids who play it and they have their microphones on. Why, Epic? Why? But I mean, for the most part, this game does look very nice. I'd attribute probably the extra anti-aliasing that you would have seen probably to that mCable HDMI Gaming Edition cable from Marsille. But for the most part, no lag, no hassle. But yeah, no, the game looks fantastic. It's running really well on the PlayStation Pro. And I have a feeling that at 1080p, this game's gonna look pretty nice on Tron. Like I said, I included Fortnite simply because you guys probably want to see a PC versus PS4 comparison on Fortnite at the same price range. So this technically isn't a 4K title, right? Because even with the PS4's boost mode, this game won't go up to 4K. But thanks to that Marsille mCable HDMI gaming cable, we're at least able to see this game at 4K, or at least upscaled to it. And that's enough I can take at this game. I'm gonna move on. I don't like kids. I'm sorry. Alright, now we're playing Fortnite on PC, and like I said, the PS4 Pro version can only do 1080p at about 30 frames per second. And right now on the PC version, we are running this game at 1080p, high settings, at about the same frame rate, so at about 30 frames per second. Now, admittedly, right now on the PC version, I can tell from my eyes that it is crisp, it does look sharp, especially on this television, and that superior HDMI gaming cable, but the experience is a little bit, not laggy, but there's a bit of stuttering here and there. But man, though, I mean, if we want to call which device at the moment looks better on Fortnite, it's a close call, but the one thing I will distinguish, like I said earlier, is that there's just a bit of stuttering happening on the PC version. But that obviously could just be because it's a $400 PC, right? However though, if I were to crank this thing up to medium settings 1080p, I bet you're probably getting about 60 frames per second like what I achieved in the official Tron video, where I got Fortnite to run at medium settings and get a pretty smooth 60 frames per second. Anyways though, let's get into a battle here. Let's see how it turns out. Okay, that's what that does. And hey, at least we don't have some annoying kid, you know, kind of having his mic on by accident. Anyways, I'm not gonna be able to. Oh, Jesus Christ! You see, this is why I can't play Fortnite. I can do CSGO and get all the kill streaks I want and actually be pretty decent at the game, which is a game that takes actual skill. But Fortnite, straight BS, dude. Straight BS, man. However, though, from what I've played, it's actually kind of a close race. I gotta admit, this comparison is a little bit closer than I thought, if we're talking about Fortnite. Alright, now we've got Hitman, and the PS4 can run this at 1440p with boost mode on. So here we have Tron running the game at 1440p at a pretty nice 15 frames per second. So here we have the game running at the lowest settings possible. I mean, at least it's running. At least it didn't crash or anything. I mean, the game's playable at a low frame rate if you're cool with that. Now we're in. Now we gotta hide the body. There we go, we're hiding the bodies at a nice 20 frames per second. I mean, think about it, if we only had an extra 10 more frames, then that would have put this game in a pretty decent position to contend with the PS4 Pro. But at the moment, with 15 to 20 frames per second, it's not cutting it, at least for Hitman. Alright, here we have Hitman on the PlayStation 4, and there's a huge difference in performance. I hate to admit it. The PS4 right now is smoking Tron on this game at 1440p, which is the native resolution Hitman can run on the PS4 Pro with boost mode. There's a guy right there, the entire experience is smooth. I mean, it's crisp, right? But of course, if I were to get up close, this would look much better probably than the PC version. I don't know, we gotta move this guy in just a little bit more. Put him in there. Now let's go ahead and get on our way to the boat. But yes, the entire gaming experience right now, Hitman, right now, is superbly better. For sure, most definitely. No lag, no anything going on. 1440p crispiness. Next up, let's boot up Prey, which I believe can run at 1440p with the PS4 Pro's boost mode. No lag, very smooth, nothing to complain here. Let's go ahead and get to the helicopter. The real test is going to come once we get in that helicopter, because we'll basically be doing a full render of almost in a sense a city, even though it's actually a virtual city. Because believe it or not, you're actually in a simulation whenever you begin this game. Spoiler alert. Here we go. Textures, everything, nice, crispy, smooth frame rate. Can't complain. If there were anti-aliasing in this game, the mCable Gaming Edition HDMI cable would have canceled it out. And I can see just a little bit, but fairly certain I've seen this game before just on a regular TV, and there's just a lot of anti-aliasing. But here, I don't see any jaggedy lines, which is really impressive. There's a few jaggedy lines, but man, the PS4 Pro is handling this game very well. At least this intro sequence. Let's get a good look at the title of the game here at the very top of the building. Oh yeah. I want to see how Tron can run this thing at 1440p. It's gonna be interesting. Alright, and now to move on from the PS4 gameplay, here we have Prey on the PC. More specifically, the $400 Tron PC. This is running at 1440p to match the PS4 supported native resolution of 1440p on this game, and the automatic setting that was applied for this was low settings, and right now I believe we have it locked at 30 frames per second to mimic the same sort of experience you get on the PlayStation. And yes, it is a little bit laggy, and admittedly it does not look as good. But what is very surprising though is that for a $400 computer, we're able to output at such a high resolution in the first place. Because usually when it gets to really cheap PCs like this, you will never expect to go above 1080p resolution. The fact that we're playing on a AAA title with a super budget gaming PC at a resolution higher than what it's probably supposed to do in the first place, I feel like is impressive. However, the real test is going to come when we actually go ahead and check out the sort of background we'll be getting, or not the background, when we check out the city while we're in the helicopter. Once we go ahead and board, this is where we'll really see the difference. Textures are not as high quality as the PlayStation, and admittedly there is Actually, anti-aliasing is just a pinch worse on the PC. I'd say a lot of the anti-aliasing that would be there originally is being taken care of by that mCable Gaming Edition HDMI cable from Marsille. But, I mean, aside from the slightly poor textures, probably awkward lighting, right? I mean, the game's actually running at 30 frames per second pretty alright, just like a PlayStation 4 Pro. Yeah, it looks like polygon and overall render count is lower. There we have the Prey title. I don't know, I'd say not bad for a $400 computer. Definitely not bad to be running this game at 1440p in the first place. Admittedly, it's at the lowest settings possible, but at least it's smooth and it's not completely destroying itself. But I would most definitely agree that the PlayStation 4 Pro version is a much better running game than compared on here. And there we have it, the benchmarks. I'll let you guys be the judge, but in my personal opinion, I would wait for budget PC gaming to reach back into its prime. Games that were graphically challenging in the first place to run, such as Hitman, that could only run natively at 1440p on the PS4 Pro, were a real struggle for Tron, even when tweaked to the lowest minimal settings possible at that resolution. We also can't forget about the additional accessories and extra costs on top of these gaming devices, such as the $45 Xbox One controller used and the $28 Netgear N300 USB Wi-Fi adapter used in tangent with the PC, and on the PS4 Pro's end, a never-ending paid subscription to PlayStation Plus so you can play online. So ultimately, I'd wait another half year for RAM prices to go down and for new exciting budget PC parts to release. Closing out this video, I want to give another 2 enormous shoutouts to TCL and Marsille for sponsoring this video. And likewise, if you haven't yet, check out the hashtag #CutTheCord giveaway in the description for a chance to win a 4 Series TCL 4K television. And as always, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and all that. And this is the Scatterable channel, signing out.